want to discuss prophecy as unique to Israel. It is one of the basic topics we can talk of today. We said when we are justifying or when we are bringing up the thesis which depicts prophecy as unique to Israel, it is a major theory or it is a major aspiration which depicts that prophecy originated in Israel. Remember our last topic, we were talking about prophecy as a borrowed phenomenon, and we have given thesis and analysis and evaluations which were supporting that prophecy can be determined as a borrowed phenomenon, where we say prophecy originated outside Israel. But in this case, we keep on hammering, we keep on bringing up new ideology, new perspectives, which shows our analytical approach, and we must be bold enough to show the reference of our analysis. So prophecy as a unique to Israel has got several emphasis and evaluation. For example, in traditional theory, it is a major bracket which brings on the thesis according to scholars like Ganke and whatsoever, who reviews that prophecy originated in Israel as a covenant keeping God. He wanted prophets to keep on upholding the Mosaic covenant, in which God illustrated through several prophets like Moses and whatsoever. So in theological sense, or in theological theory, according to B.W. Anderson, prophecy originated in Israel as a basic mechanism through Yahweh communicate his demands to his people through the prophets. So theological theory, it reveals that prophecy originated in Israel as a basic mechanism whereby God or Yahweh could communicate to the prophets, and the prophets, they will act as intermediators of God and his individuals. And the individuals had to take the demands of God seriously and apply them. Failure to apply or failure to depict or to align the emphasis or the restrictions in which God had revealed through a prophet was going to bring a case to the clan or to an individual. So theological means the study of God or the demands of God. What God is demanding you to do, and you must align to those demands. I'm just giving a paraphrasing. Then we have what we call cultic origin. According to cultic origin, it says that prophecy originated with Samuel. Why? Because Samuel has established cultic centers, namely Mizpah, Gilgal, and Shiloh. And these cultic centers were only related to Samuel. We established them. And Samuel established these centers as centers of worship, where the Israelites could gather on each and every Sabbath day, worshiping their God. And this brings the uniqueness of prophecy to Israel, in the sense that it is only in Israel where we see a prophet establishing cultic centers and align all individuals in that country or whatsoever to take the heed, the fact that God needs to be worshipped at this place and this place and that place. There is no any other prophet in ancient Near East who wants to practice such a scenario or a phenomenon. How to get? Yes. Then after that, you have written what we call sociological theory. Sociological theory, what does the sociological theory review? Sociological theory reviews about what we call a social hierarchy. A social hierarchy where we see at the apex we have what we call kings, and at the middle we have the bourgeoisie or working class, or what we call middlemen or businessmen, and at the bottom of what we call peasants. So the reference of this sociological theory, it says that according to the Mosaic covenant, the Israelites should have treated each other equally and amicably, in a good sense. But when Israel was established in Canaan, they started to disintegrate, or they started to bring up social classes whereby the poor were now being abused by the rich and the kings. So now the prophets were being called by God in order to defend the voice of the voiceless. For example, the event of Naboth and King Ahab. King Ahab murdered Naboth because he failed to grant the vineyard. So it is now Elijah being called to be a voice of the voiceless. For example, Amos was called to justify justice upon the poor when he was saying, "You are now selling the poor for a pair of shoes." The poor were being treated as animals, yet according to the Mosaic covenant, these people, they were justified to be together. But the weaknesses of this theory is that the theory assumed that there was no prophets before settlement in Canaan. Why? Because it is only depicting about the social hierarchy after the Israelites were now established in Canaan. How to get? Then we move to what we call prophets as both chaotic and political theory. I want to take it as a kingship theory or a political theory. What does a kingship theory or a political theory depict about the origins of prophets in Israel? We can refer to the scholar known as E.M. Cross. According to E.M. Cross, he revealed that prophets originated in Israel as a basic mechanism where Israel was transformed from a tribal league into a kingship monarchy. Are we together? So what was happening during the tribal league? When the Israelites were coming from Egypt to Canaan, the 12 sons of Jacob were obliged that each and every tribe must pick up a rock and cross the river Jordan as a remembrance that Yahweh liberated them from the captivity of Pharaoh. Again. So these tribes, each and every tribe said go in, each has its own father or its own fundamental leader as they were settled in Canaan. We have what we call northern Israel and southern part of Israel. The northern part of Israel is 10 tribes, and the southern part of Israel was settled with the 2 tribes. How to get? So as these tribes were evolving day by day, each and every tribe had its own leadership skills and each own mandates that were different from each other. But according to 1 Samuel chapter 9 and chapter 10, it reveals that the Israelites, they were now cheering up to the prophet, and they said, we want also to have a king, as our neighboring countries are also having kings. And God was not welcoming the idea. Yeah. But because the prophet was intercessing, he said, okay, do it, install a king. And it was where we see Samuel, according to the kingship theory, its base mandate is that it is where Samuel, anointed Saul as the first king of Israel. As Saul was anointed to be the first king of Israel, Israel was transformed from being that in the tribal league into a kingship monarch, where we have one king who was anointed by Samuel and was ruling Israel throughout. How to get? So this is how we take note of. So it is related to 1 Samuel chapter 10, where we see Samuel anointing Saul as the first king of Israel. And it is only Samuel who anointed the king for the first time, number 1. Number 2, in nation here East, we never witnessed the king being anointed by a prophet. How to get? Yes. So this shows that Israel had its own unique origins that were different from ancient Near East. This is how we explain the concern about the origins of prophecy in Israel. Are we together? Yes. Right. So this is the issue. For those who want to join both physical and online lesson, you can contact Seduza, the intellect on the number appearing on the screen. Thank you very much.